there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. Today's video is going to be part 2 of my makeup inventory / collection video, and today we're going to go over all of my concealers. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. If you're into eyeshadow palettes, Essence and Catrice, and getting the use out of your makeup the way that I am, then definitely stay tuned because I love getting the use out of my makeup, but in order to do so, I also need to A, know what I have, and B, keep things organized. So I thought that I could come on here and do like a daily series in February where I'm showing you my entire makeup collection, save for eyeshadow palettes because I already did that in August. So you can see that video if you click the link in the description box down below. And sort of like go over so I can make up my mind before I declutter my collection to see what's worth keeping or not. So that's sort of where I'm coming from with this video. And I thought rather than just doing this off camera, I could take you along for the ride and show you what I have at the same time, because I like to always make up my mind what I would like to declutter before I declutter so that the declutters can be a little bit more concise, and that also helps them making more fun to watch. This is concealers. I'm going to be adding swatches in today's video as well because I think it's helpful to see that and you can really get a nice overview of what these will all look like against my fair skin with a cool to neutral undertone, in case you're new here and you don't know that yet. I've also been buying, trying, and reviewing makeup for a very long time, so I have some strong favorites and opinions therefore about makeup in general. So if you'd like to join the Snow Angel Club, then definitely click subscribe down below. So let me lay out all of these concealers for you so that you can have a good overview of what I've got going on. Alright, so this way it's a little bit more centered than it was before. So this is all the concealer I have. Concealer is actually a category of makeup where I like to use things up before I move on to something else. So that's why I try to keep that a little bit more focused, but I do now feel that I haven't tried any, like that many new concealers for a while. Like this is my newest one. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. So if you know of any concealers you would like to see me talk about, or that you think may be great for me, then definitely let me know. It's perhaps good to know before we get into this that I have dry skin. I'm in my late 30s, so I've got fine lines and some like onset of wrinkles going on. So concealer can therefore be a little bit hit and miss for me for sure. And because of my fair skin, I sometimes struggle finding the right shade. I have found though that I sort of, like I go back and forth between the shades I like with concealers. I like them if they're a bit brightening, but sometimes I also like them to be just like right on the money, my skin tone. So let me just get round to it. And I'm not sure if you can see, this needs to go this way, but I've got a fair bit of drugstore concealers as well, or like more affordable things for sure, because for a very long time I was only really into drugstore concealers. So I've definitely delved more into high-end things now. I already did buy, by the time you're watching this it should be in, but I did get myself the NYX Bear With Me concealer because I love their Born to Glow foundation, and so many people were recommending that to me already. So if that's your recommendation, then hold on, because that is definitely one I already bought and I'm going to be trying that out at some point. So yeah, let me start with the pot of things here because I feel they're like different compared to everything else. So here we have one of the newest acquisitions. This is the RMS Beauty Uncover Concealer in shade, is this a shade? Yes, 00. So I think it's the lightest one they do, and I felt this was a little bit dark. It's pretty yellow, but this could still work, and I thought, why has this sealed over? Ooh, that's weird. I've only had this for a hot minute. Oh no, there we go. It works, it works, it works. Perhaps better with a brush than fingers. So good to know that from now on. So I'm not sure how much I like this, but it does look a little bit peachy as well. I don't think you can even see this. Oh, but yeah, this is, I hope the formula is going to be right for me. I've heard great things about RMS. But yeah, it does blend into the skin very nicely. Then the Catrice Under Eye Brightener, one of the best launches from Catrice in 2022. This reminds me a lot of how people have described the Becca Under Eye Corrector, and this is a lovely shade. It's only available in one shade though, which is a bit of a shame, but the shade is perfect for me, and you can wear this by itself, or you can wear this under concealer, of course, but this is such a great shade. And yeah, it's got that like pinky peachy vibe to it. I like it. And because I now have the Catrice one, I'm actually contemplating getting rid of this. This is the Catrice, no, this is the Charlotte Tilbury corrector in shade Fair, and this is the lightest shade they do. And you can just tell, like if I hold these side by side, let me show you, like how much darker the Charlotte Tilbury one is. Like it's much more peach, and the Catrice one is much more pink. So the undertones are very different. And I have always said of the Charlotte Tilbury product, it's a good product. I mean, this is a good corrector if it matches your shade. But for me, the shade isn't necessarily 100% perfect. It's just a little bit too dark. And whereas the, you know, the peachiness is great for canceling out dark circles. I love it for that. But the way this wears, it's just not my favorite one ever. And I just had this because I don't have that many correctors. Like the Catrice one, the Charlotte Tilbury one, and this. So let me talk about this next then, in case I forget. Those are the only correctors I have. And do I need 3? Probably not. One of my favorites has been this. This has been discontinued. The Peri Pera Ink corrector in the shade Peach. And I always pair it with my Glossier Stretch concealer. And this, I mean, this is so orange, but it's so beautiful when you blend it in. And this is truly like an actual corrector. Like you need to apply a concealer over this to cancel out that orange tone. But if you have blueness anywhere in your face or dark circles, this is perfect for it. So let me then talk about the Glossier Stretch Concealer. This is in shade G12. And this is one of my favorite all-time concealers. This is very dewy, and I was hoping that the RMS one could be like a dupe. Let me compare them. I think the RMS one is darker. Oh, look at that undertone. It's just far more yellow. That's a bit more pinky peach. Ooh, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I really like the RMS is a little less dewy though. So the Glossier one, I don't love it all over my face. I mainly like it on my under eye area because it's so rich and creamy, and this shade is perfection for me. Then again, something that I feel are dupes for each other, the NARS Soft Matte Creamy Concealer and the Catrice Ultimate Camouflage Cream Concealer. This is in Ivory 010. I think it's the lightest shade though, but this is also in the lightest shade. This is Chantilly. And I put this in a full face of dupes video in 2022, and I think they're very comparable. I think they're very similar. One's applied to the face, and the NARS one is just a little bit old, so maybe I should get rid of the NARS and keep the Catrice, or maybe get rid of both, because I don't love putted concealers all that much, and I now have the RMS one that I think is like a similar yellowish shade to this. And these are a little thicker, a little bit more matte, so I think I prefer the RMS one. So maybe I can get rid of both of these, because I try so many. So this is the NARS, and this is the Catrice. So you can see the Catrice is a little bit more yellow toned and a little bit deeper than the NARS is. The NARS is definitely a better shade for me, but it is perhaps getting a bit old in my collection. And then I just have 2 here that aren't like your standard like long packaging like these are. This still has a doe foot though. The Catrice one doesn't. And I've always kept this closed because the One Drop coverage was discontinued in a heartbeat, and I repurchased it because I loved it so much. This is in the shade 003 Porcelain. But now that I look at it again, I'm like, ooh, that looks very orange. Or orange yellow, I should say. So, oh. And I'm not sure if this is still any good, because I've had it for a while. And this is what I already said in my foundation video. Oh. doesn't smell that bad. I thought I caught a whiff of something, but it wasn't this. So this is actually, like, look at that shade. That's ridiculous. That's far too yellow for my liking nowadays. Like, I like something that's perhaps a bit more neutral than this. So the Catrice one, I think, may just have met at the end of its lifetime. This was a repurchase, by the way. So I've said this in my foundation video as well, where I said I should not repurchase foundations I loved because after using them up, because there's so much new coming to the market. And this is the mistake I made with this one as well. I loved it, repurchased it, but I've never gone back to it. And by now we get so many other lovely things. Then the ink concealer from Peri Pera. This is in the shade, I don't know the shade, but this was like my skin tone color. And I have to say I like the corrector better than I do the concealer, but this is also pretty. Like, shall I just do it like this? With these doe foots? Now you can see the shade perhaps a bit better. So this is a really nice shade. Oh, this still smells good. I've had this for a while. So this may be worth like a use up project kind of thing at some point. By the way, the reason why I am swatching out all of my concealers is A, there aren't that many, plus I haven't reviewed all of these things. With the foundations, I'm like very much on point, keeping those things up in reviews, and with concealers, I'm just a little, like this one, the Ordinary one, I bought in 2021, you guys, and I haven't used it at all in 2022. So this is in the shade 1.1N, which is what I had the foundation in. And I remember Kelly Gooch saying that she didn't like this when it came out. But I love the Ordinary's Serum Foundation, and I thought this might work for me. I did apply it to my eyes once. Like, oh yeah, this is much more my shade. Like, this is far better for me. It just blends into the skin so much better. It is a little thicker though. So that's probably why Kelly didn't love it, and that's probably why I'm not going to love it, but I definitely need to put this in a Shop My Stash and just test it out. Another mistake I made is repurchasing the Naked Skin Concealer by Urban Decay in the shade Fair Neutral before it was discontinued. Right on the cusp of it. So I'm not sure if this is still, because this is old, you guys. But this is the first time I'm opening this, because I'm like, I either need to get rid of this, or I need to use it up. Oh no, that's far too yellow. And I remember using up a shade darker than this. Like, when I blend it in, it's okay. I could probably make this work, but I think I just have other concealers I like better by now. What do you guys think? Should I keep this? Then this, the Peri Pera Double Longwear Cover Concealer. So these ink corrector ink concealers have been discontinued, and this is, I think, what they've replaced it with. This is in 01 Pure Ivory. This was sent to me in PR, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think I bought this myself. And this, ooh. So I remember liking this when I tried it for the first time. It's a little bit more yellow toned than I'd like it to be. Ooh, it does seem to like darken when you blend it, like on those edges. Do you see that it has a tendency to deepen up? I'm not sure I love that. So this is definitely one that kind of oxidizes a bit. So I'm not sure I love that, but maybe I just need to try it on my face. On the back of your hand, it's always going to be different. The Cover Up Concealer from H&M in the shade Ivory. I remember loving this, so this may be one to use up at some point. Again, this is only 2.2 milliliters of product, so we can definitely use this up. What shade is this in? Ooh, that's a peachy tone. I like that. In the shade Ivory. Did I already say that? Oh yeah, this is perfect. Like, do you just see that if it has that hint of pink, it just blends into my skin like nothing? And then a concealer I love that comes in massive packaging, but that is too dark for me. This is the Forever Skin Correct by Dior in shade 1N. My shade in Dior is 0N, but this concealer, at least when I bought it for a full face of Dior, isn't available in the shade 0N in my country. Urgh. And I didn't want to have to go through paying shipping just for one concealer at the time. So this is a lovely texture. I love how much we get in here. How much do we get in here? 11 milliliters. This is such a good one. I just got one of those massive doe foods, but it's just too dark, which is why I'm not wearing it. And I'm sort of like over these like super, like, look at that. It just looks so orange. I mean, it kind of works, but I don't know. I don't know whether I should keep that. Maybe I can make somebody else happy with it. The Kiko Precious Rituals Hydrating Vegan Concealer. I remember loving this. This is in the shade 1, which is probably called Ivory, knowing Kiko. And this for once was light enough. Like with Kiko, it's always a bit hit and miss with their base products. Look at that shade. It's light, it's not super orange. I mean, that is like exactly my skin tone. So that's definitely one we're gonna have to keep around. Then the Milk Flex Concealer in the shade Fair, which is, I believe, is the lightest shade that they did. And it's a little bit on the darker end, but it is peachy rather than orange. And peaches I can get away with so much better. Oh yeah. Oh, when you blend it in, it does look nice. Looks really dark in the tube, but it does look really well, nicely done in the swatch. As I'm filming this, the Rare Beauty Concealer is in my Shop My Stash. This is in 160C. And this I like so far. It's definitely the right shade for me. Like, but that's all you need. And it's a little bit too thick for my liking. Like, I haven't had a concealer in a long time where I've had to press it in with my fingers to really push it into my fine lines so that they don't show up as well, because else it just takes a little bit to blend this. It's just a little bit too thick for my liking, but the shade is spot on. But I'd love to try that corrector that she came out with like the little metal piece on it. Not sure I love it because I don't love those kind of shades usually, but yeah, if that's a bit more lightweight than this, because this is just a little too full coverage for my liking. And I feel very similarly about this. The Rose Ink Concealer. Does this have a name? No. It's in LX030. I bought this when I was at Space NK in the UK, thinking I want to try a Rose Ink product, and I'm going to make this one my first one. This is nice. Again, like with the Rare Beauty, this is a good product. But it's just giving me too much coverage. Again, the shade is pretty nice. It's a little bit deeper. It's a bit similar to the Milk one, I think. So it's really nice, but it has a similar formula to the Rare Beauty, I swear. Like, these feel so similar when you blend them out that I'm not entirely sure I need to keep both. I don't know. I've not reviewed the Rose Ink one yet, and I tend to love Rare Beauty overall, but Rose Ink is definitely a brand where I would like to try more of. So maybe just keep it around that if I ever want to do like a full face of Rose Ink, I can. I don't know. This formula is just a little, it also stays tacky. Like, it's just, I remember I put it on once just to see what it would do, and I was like, ooh, this is not my kind of concealer. Like, I like them to be dewy like my foundations, and this just isn't it. Fenty Beauty, this is the Bright Fix in Seashell. This is one of those things where I'm like, yeah, this is the kind of concealer-like product that I don't love. This is very nice and lightweight, but this does absolutely nothing. This needs a corrector underneath it. But this is supposed to be the corrector. But this, like you can just see, it's a little bit patchy. And I didn't use that much, and you just get zero coverage. Like, it's just nothing. Like, it does absolutely nothing. So I think that the Fenty Beauty one, when I do a declutter, may just have to go. Something I already know straight off the bat is going to have to go is this, the Cover and Care Concealer from Catrice. This is in 002N, and I remember this being a very weird shade on me. I mean, it looks a bit green in the tube as well. Like, what's up with that? And that's just the issue with Catrice. Their shade ranges are absolutely shutty in a lot of their products. So, yeah. I mean, it works. It's okay, but I didn't love this. Like, they've done other concealers that I like so much better than this. And then my newest acquisition, the Milk Concealer. This is the Future Fluid, and this is so fingerprinty, so easily. This is in the lightest shade. This is 2C, and I did not expect it to be this light for me, what I needed, and I love, like, this is like a pointed doe foot. It's so interesting. But the lady put this one on, and I was like, yeah, out of all of the shades, this was the neutral shade that worked best for me. So it's got a little bit of that peach, which I love, but this is very, very light. And I don't love these super highlightery concealers, but there was just something about this one that worked for me. So I was like, yes, I do really like that. And it just kind of like blends and highlights at the same time. So I do like that. And then a concealer that I bought because I liked the shade I originally had, but it was too dark for me. So I tried a lighter shade. This is the same Cover Perfection Tip Concealer in the shade 0.5. This is a K-Beauty brand. This doesn't come with a whole lot of product though. It's all in Korean, so of course I can't read how much product we get in here. Anywho, this is also a very affordable concealer, I believe. Oh, this is so pretty. And the formula of this is so great. You can buy this off Yes Style, and I think this is under €5. And it's so good. Like, this is what I want. It's rich, creamy, easy to blend, great coverage, spot on shade. Yes, thank you, the same. Will I ever learn my lesson? Another repurchase after I use it up. The Essence Stay All Day 16-hour long-lasting concealer. Is this okay? For sure. Did I really need to repurchase this? Probably not. But like I mentioned in my foundation video, I try a lot of Essence and Catrice products, so I do like to keep some of those things on hand very often. So the Essence Stay All Day 16-hour is one of my all-time favorites, and this is the darkest shade they do. Take that in for a minute. It only comes in 2 shades. This is 020 Soft Beige. And the other one, Ivory, is just very, very yellow. And this is so pretty. Oh, now I remember why I repurchased this. Because this is like my ideal concealer. It's lightweight, very nice coverage, but like undetectable on the skin. And last but not least, we have NARS. This is their... what's this called again? The Radiant Creamy Concealer? Is that what it's called? In the shade Vanilla. I just have a travel size. I got rid of my bigger size, and I like to put this in my travel bag when I use that. So that's what this is for. I got it as a freebie, as a gift with purchase. This is okay. I don't love this anymore as much as I used to. This is, again, a little bit too full coverage for what I love. The Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer, another backup, but this is like my third one of these. Like, I went through this hard for a while. This is in the shade C3, and this for such a long time was like my favorite concealer, and I'm not sure it still is. Oh, the shade is nice and peachy. See, this is how I found out about the peachy tones that I need. So this was lovely, and I do really like that formula. Let me blend it in to see. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And the Conceal and Define is still available, and it has a much better shade range than the Essence, and it's got a little bit more coverage. But that, I love. Still one of my favorites, I guess. And then one that I was trying to use up at the end of 2022, and I was like, I'm never going to manage. The Studio Fix 24-Hour Smooth Wear Concealer by MAC. Lovely product. Is in NW15. And this is so full coverage though, like I just need this. That's all I need. 1 dot and then I'm good to go. This is not the kind of concealer you need too much of, but this is again a little bit difficult to blend sometimes. And I felt as we were going into winter that this started to accentuate my fine lines and dryness a bit too much. So this is lovely for me in like warmer temperatures. So like summer, post-summer, like this was great for me in September and October, but then I was like, nope, just no. So I couldn't keep using it and actually use another concealer instead of this one. Then the Beautiful Skin Concealer from Charlotte Tilbury, the Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer. This is in shade 4 Fair. Like the shade range on this thing is so weird. And this, it looks so dark, but I think this may actually work. Again, more of a peachy tone, which is probably why it works. But yeah, I've said so many times with Charlotte Tilbury that her shade range, if you have fair skin, oh, this does that thing that the Peri Pera did too. Do you see that? That it has this like darker edge that starts to develop as you blend it. Oh, I'm not sure I'm gonna love that. I love the formula though, like it feels very nice, but it just, as it dries down, it just darkens up, it completely oxidizes. Do you see that right here on the back of my hand? So then we have the Clio Kill Cover Liquid Concealer, and this, if you want full coverage, this is you. This is 2BP Lingerie. I just reviewed this for you in January over on the blog, so I have this with a complete like overview of what it looks like on my under eyes. And this is just far too full coverage for my liking. It's not drying per se, but this is such heavy coverage and it barely blends out because of it. And I don't love it for that reason. Like, this is so tough to blend in. The concealer I use when I want to do a cut crease is the Nabla Close-Up Concealer. This is also far too full coverage for my liking and also too mattifying. So I don't use this on my skin at all. But this is the only thing that I feel really gives me a good cut crease. So that's why this lives in my collection. And finally, the Kiko Shake Up Energy Shake Hydra Lightning Cushion Concealer in shade 01. It's one of those guys with the little ball. And I felt this was a little bit too dark for me. Hold on. Haven't used it in a while. Ooh. Let's get some more. So this, I mean, I don't love these like things because they get so messy and you always need to twist them up and you overuse the product and it gets stuck inside the inside the cushion, so it's a waste of product. I mean, the product itself is nice, but I wish I could do without that ball thing for sure. So those were all of the concealers I have in my collection. Let me know if there's any recommendations you have for me that you would like me to try next. As I already mentioned, the NYX Bear With Me is currently making its way to me, so by the time you're seeing this video, I will have bought that. And it's going to be part of this collection for sure. But yeah, if there's anything else that you would like to recommend to me, I'd love to know. Also, I think I have a top 10 favorite concealers over on my Shop My Shelf. So definitely click the link down below in the description box that says Shop My Favorites, because there you can see an overview of all of my favorite makeup and skincare products that I love. It's an affiliate link program, so if you do choose to shop through there, I could make a bit of a commission. Just trying to be fully transparent here. And I will be back very, very soon with part 3 of my makeup inventory series, which I think is going to be bronzers for sure. And then we're going to do highlighters and blush, and I'm going to go over all of my lipsticks as well and swatching those out for you. So I've got a lot more content coming your way. I would like to stay tuned for all of that goodness, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.